Alright, what's up guys? Today we were back working on the shop truck. We got her in the nice heated garage. She hasn't had this kind of treatment in a very long time. She's been in here for a couple days. Now that the heat's running, she's nice and comfy. So the plan for today is to continue on rocker panels and cab corners. Start by grinding them, and then we'll go through and work the magic of the body work, clear them out.
All this needs ground, all this.
How flat, I guess,
Flat.
do you go?
Yep, flat.
Okay.
All this.
On the back.
All this.
I don't want to, I guess, go too far, you know, and...
All these.
Alright, so this is kind of what we're going for here. Just as flat as possible, but as you can see, with the repetition of many, same thing down here. So I'm gonna get to work on the driver's side. Pops is over there gonna work on the passenger side, and we'll see what we can grind away. What happens when you get an area too thin. It starts to crack. Right here is the seam where we welded, and obviously we grinded it just a little too thin. So what we'll do, we'll just break the welder out and weld this up a little bit, try and fill it in. If we have to, we'll put a backing in so we can access it right here. But hopefully we can just grab the welder real quick and put a new seam over this just to fill it in a little bit, and we'll grind it back down. Okay, so where we're at now, the next step is to put some mud on the areas. So what we have to do first is scuff everything so the mud sticks. So I'm gonna take the DA sitting up there and some 80 grit and go over all the spots that we need to put mud and sand them down so we can get them to bare metal. Let's get sanded. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is heat these. This is a sport package stripe here. I'm gonna heat these up because they're not sanding very well. Heat them up with the heat gun and then peel them off, and then use some lacquer thinner to get the adhesive off so it will sand better for us to do the mudding. Just show here quick, we put a backing in because we were pulling through, welding through. So now we have a back to weld onto. All right, on to side number 2. Okay, we got a little bit of mud on the passenger side covering the first coat of fiberglass. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand these down with some 80 grit, and we'll see what we're left. We'll probably have to do another coat or two, see what Pops thinks, but we will go from there. Same with down here along the bottom. Driver's side just has fiberglass and a little bit on the rocker at the moment, but this side was done first, so we will get this done and then hop to the other side. Okay, passenger side. First real good coat and sanding is complete. There's a couple spots that we just have to go through and fill in. Pops will go ahead and throw on some mud. She's looking pretty good. We're here on the captain's side. This is kind of what we're talking about. Just filling in some of these low spots here. Some mud. What's the back looking like? Same thing back here as well. Low spots. She's looking real good here on the driver's side as well. Nice and smooth down below. Last coat of mud, hopefully. Again, cross your fingers. Sand that down. Then we will work on the rest of the cab and then to primer. How far?
All the way.
Yep.
Down over.
Yep. Okay, wow. She's looking nice and covered. So we drug the auto covering plastic over it, and then we back taped it before we put the plastic over it, and then obviously taped it over top again, cut out the area we want to prime. And now, first step before we can actually go into prime, I'm going to hit these bare metal spots on both sides with this etching primer. Same thing. All these bare spots here, the bare metal is what needs hit. And again, we cut out. There's the back we're gonna hit. Let's get suited and booted and start the primer. Safety first. Now I'm just going over some of these bare spots here. Good easy first coat. I'm gonna go back through again, cover everything up for a nice second coat. It might need a third coat, might not. We'll go over the other side, passenger side, and repeat. Okay, passenger side, you know the deal. All right, we got the etch priming done. Now we are ready to mix up some primer. Primer up, see what we get into here. First coat of primer. Look at those paint lines. I say we just leave it like that. Okay. Okay, wow. Primer looks pretty good. One thing we did notice is it's kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but there's quite a bit of sand scratches in it. So guess what we get to do now? Sand. Whoa. So we're taking the guide coat on both sides. We're gonna take the guide coat over everything we primed and start blocking it down. And we then will make the decision whether we want to re-coat this really good before we then go and start sanding the rest of the cab, meaning basically the roof. Before we start on the rest of the cab, we're gonna block the rocker panels and cab corners down and then make a decision whether we want to put another coat of primer on. So let's get to sanding. Yeah, this is boring. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll see you when we're sanded and ready for the next step. Okay. All right, so big update in the last time since I've really filmed. The glass is now out of the truck. Roof is now sanded with 80 and 180, so that's ready for primer. We are fixing up a few dents as we see fit. Second coat of primer is on the cab corners and rock panels on both sides. We are now going through sanding them down. Lastly, we are touching up the back of the cab here. We're not being too crazy about it because it's covered by the bed. So what we're doing next, and what I want to do for the rest of this video, the goal is to get one coat of primer on this whole cab here. So we have to finish sanding this down here as well as up here. We are doing some guide coat here, just sanding this down with 220 then 320, and then this cab is ready to get a full coat of primer. So we're making good headway on this cab, hopefully to get a good coat of primer on soon. Then obviously we'll sand it down, but this thing is getting really close to being painted. So the next video, we are ready to paint. We have a bunch of body parts ready as well as the cab. So this thing is coming along very, very nicely. So we're gonna keep working. I'll update you once we make some progress, but it's just a lot of rinse and repeat: sand, guide coat, primer, yada, 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 mud. Just wanted to update you guys, and we're making lots of good progress. Okay, it is prime day, ladies and gents. The cab will be getting its first full coat of primer, but before we do that, we need to finish just sanding a little bit here, and Pops wants me to sand the top here with some 320, just to give it a good and final smooth over. But other than that, we will cover her up, cut it out, and the whole cab will be getting a coat of primer. We're finally nearing the end, ready for paint. Sanding is done. Now we're ready to blow it off. Spray some primer.
Gonna get dusty.
Okay, so now we have to back tape the entire truck. All the windows, all the way around the doors, the front here, everything. All the way along the back here, everything it needs to be back taped because the whole cab's getting primer. So let's jump into it. Sorry, I just want to capture the professional. They'll have half the door done, or the truck done, before I finish one door. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is finally time for the shop truck's first big coat of primer. Everything is taped up, sealed, etch primed, and ready to go. Pops is currently working on mixing up some primer, and the whole thing is getting a good coat. So let's jump into that and see how she turns out. Well, we are just about ready to start priming, and we realize we don't know where the respirators are, and some of the mix cups. I do remember putting a lot of stuff in here. Oh, look.
I mean, you could have cut a hole in like the center of it.
Yeah. Alright. Spend so much time on a tape job, and some silly goose forgets that there's important stuff on the inside. It's fine.
The first big stepping stone. Woo. Outstanding. Oh yeah. She looks good. All right, coat number 2.
Alright guys, last and final step. Good coat of primer on the truck. Now we're going to take some 600 grit sandpaper on the DA, guide coat the whole thing, and do a good and light sand to go through and make sure everything is as smooth as possible. I already guide coated the top, so we are going to go through, take care of this, and get everything ready for paint. This is the last and final step, so let's go ahead, get sanding. Well, as you'll notice, the background of where I'm at has changed a little bit. We are officially in a paint booth. The shop truck is finally done and ready for paint. I'm gonna try and avoid showing too much, but we have everything sanded down and ready to go. Currently, we have the other side of this panel here on the cab painted and cleared and ready to go, but I don't want to show it yet. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek. You can't quite see much, just a little bit of overspray when we did the interior there. Just this back side of the panel. But we are officially ready for paint as the truck sits, but it looks amazing. We've actually already painted a couple of the other parts, which you'll be seeing in the next video, but I'm so excited for you guys to see this. It looks so good. The color choice I made, I am super happy with. Next video, we are painting the shop truck. It looks so good. So if you're excited to see the shop truck get its brand new coat of paint, make sure you're subscribing because like I said, you're gonna definitely wanna see this color choice. It looks so good. So subscribe if you're new, helps me out, allows me to keep making videos for you guys. And if you're excited, let me know down below in the comments if you're excited to see the shop truck finally get coat of paint after hours and hours, countless hours and months of body work on this thing. So stay tuned for that. It's coming up soon, and I'm super excited. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon with the new coat of paint on the shop truck.